Hey everybody, welcome back. I'd like to say welcome back to another beautiful day in the Arizona desert, but it's not a beautiful day in the Arizona desert. It is cold, overcast, and rather threatening out, and it might rain. But you know, I lived in the Seattle area for 19 years. Rain has had many chances to kill me and has failed every time. So what we're going to do today, I think, and I've got a lot to do. You know, I've got headlight assemblies on my 98 Jeep ZJ. I want to paint the house. I got to get started on that. My shop is a mess, but I'm going to ignore all that. And what I think I'm going to do, and what I want to do, as you see, I got one wheel off the ground because I wanted to see if the track lock in the rear end was working, and it is not. I mean, it's trying, but it's not able to pull it off of a jack stand, which means the plates are worn out, which I should have expected because they have well over 100,000 miles on them. So I also want to do the rear brakes, wheel cylinders, hardware kit. I want to put outer axle seals in it. I got plates and friction plates and discs coming for the track lock, but and I want to do this. I want to get these off of here and see what I got under there and what I'm going to do about the holes and get the gas tank mounted back in. But before I can do any of that, I got to do this. This is what powers the main shop lights in my garage. I broke the chain off it the other night, so let's get this thing on. All right, that's one thing off the list for the day. That didn't take very long. Thankfully, let's grab the Harbor Freight Badlands jack. Let's roll that out in the back instead of carrying out like I would that other one. Let's roll that out in the back. Let's get the Jeep off that jack stand. And then we will get rid of those old diamond plate pieces and get the tail lights and all that off first, of course. And then we'll see what's under those old diamond plate pieces and what I want to do to make it the way I want it, or a close approximation thereof. Another thing a couple of you have asked me is whatever happened to my last year's heat UV test pieces. Well, this is the set that I kept inside. The set that I kept outside after the last video in the series, and I'll put a link above. After that last video, a storm came through and blew them all to hell and gone, and that pretty much ended that. But I'll tell you what, it was inconclusive anyway. They all looked identical. None of the products I used protected the pieces against yellowing. They all yellowed. So, should I do another one this year? I don't know. Leave your comments and suggestions below. Should I do another heat and UV test? What products should I use? Because I'm not sure 3D printed plastic is the answer. What test pieces, what material should the test pieces be made out of? And what product should I use to test it other than the 12 or 13 I did in last year's test? And hey, if it's something that cost a lot of money, if it's more than 20 bucks a can or a bottle, get a small piece of cloth out, soak it down in it if you have it and like it, put it in a baggie and send it to me. If you want to do that, let me know in the comment section below and I will give you my address. But let me know what you guys think about another Arizona blazing sun, high UV heat, and UV test. And for those of you who have inquired as to how my existing taillight lenses have held up, they've been through 2 summers now. And this was the PLA, the white or transparent PLA that was originally on the front, and that's the west there. So the front of this vehicle doesn't really get the high, sun in the afternoon and the UV, but as you can see, the PETG is holding up pretty well. Here is one that was never outside, so you see it has changed slightly, but boy, not much for 2 years out in this sun. Here are the ones that have been on the rear. I just took them off, and as you can see, yeah, there is a slight difference. It has changed slightly, but nothing like that. And for those of you wondering how my black ABS housings have held up, there you have it. They've been on longer than anything else. All of this was black ABS. At one point in time, when I was 3D printing a lot, I really came to like ABS. It seemed to me to be cheap and durable and easy to print when you had an enclosure. But it wasn't until I started doing hammer drop tests in UV tests that I really started to lose faith in it and started to move more to PETG for outside things. But so far, these have held up fine. So I pulled off that fender flare. I didn't really want to because I was afraid they were going to crumble like these side markers, but they didn't. They came, at least this one came off pretty easy, and this one would be the tough one since this side is exposed to more sun than the other. And I pulled off the diamond plate, and I was correct. This is the side that I had damaged many years ago and repaired. And you can see here where I cut out the damaged sheet metal and tacked the piece in, and then I just put that diamond plate over it. Now the original sheet metal, you can see, has this lip around it to give it support, and I didn't do that, but instead I welded on a support back here. I don't know if you can see it. So it's, if anything, it's even more solid than that. But there's no lip down here, but that's all part of this, which is solid. So part of me is really over the whole diamond plate thing. I don't really like it all that much. But also the piece that I put in here, this is really wavy. I didn't really do a very good job of that. I didn't really think I had to, since I knew I was going to cover it with a diamond plate quarter. I don't know. Do I clean this up and put it back on? Do I clean that up and just paint it white? Do I get new diamond plate quarters? I don't know. Or do I just get some sheet aluminum and make my own quarter? I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet. Okay, I have done some thinking on this, and I believe what I am going to do is pretty much put it back the way it is. And I'm not thrilled with it, because I am really over the whole diamond plate look, but I just don't have this. This is really wavy, and I don't have the time, the desire, or the skill to make that look what I would think would probably be acceptable painted. So since it's already on there and it's sturdy, I've already got that. And these are 1/8" diamond plate. The ones you buy that come flat that you bend on your own are not, because you would not bend that on your own, you know, just by riveting it or screwing it on and pushing it around. This one over here is fine. I think I'm going to clean it up. I think I'm going to paint these matte black to match the bumpers. Don't know if I'm going to like it, but at least it will kind of match other things. And this one over here, I think I'm going to clean some of the cutouts. You know, where I have cut out for wires to go in and for that to go in. I think I'll clean some of that up with a Dremel tool a bit, paint it black, and rivet it back on as well. And then I'll just put caps in here, you know, either stainless caps if I can find them. If I can't, I can always print something out of TPU or PETG just to fill those extra holes. And I think we're going to call it good and put it the rest of the way back together and move on to the brakes and the rebuilding the track lock. That's the plan, I think. For now, anyway, I think that's the plan. There is the one off the passenger side that I have cleaned up and painted. I don't know that it's any prettier than it was. Here is this side. I have gotten any rust corrosion, primed it, and put a thin top coat on it just to kind of seal the primer before I recover it. And I have painted this one. So I'm going to put that the other one back on. We're going to put it all back together. I'm going to have to come up with new marker lights because the other ones just crumbled when I took them off. And we'll see if I've made it prettier or uglier or somewhere in between. It's another day in the Arizona desert. I did not quite get finished up last night. Looking not too bad over here. Over there, it's not looking so good. We'll try and get this done. It's Sunday. I'll show you what I did get finished last night. I got the side pieces put back on. I got the paint kind of done okay. I printed and glued in some, and it rained last night, which is all the drops all over it. I got some plugs in for the holes. I got a little crazy with the glue. That's something I do almost every time. I got some plugs in over here. And can't tell you I love that, but I can't say I hate it either. But we're going to put the tail lights and everything back on. Took me a while to find it all this morning. I am terrible at keeping track of stuff I took apart. But like these things, I have never found those. I have no idea where I put those. I may wind up having to buy a replacement set, and of course I got to buy the whole darn thing. But and those are stainless ones. But that's life. But I got everything laid out here that I found. We're going to be putting all that bulb. We're not going to be putting these back on. I got a set of these coming front and rear, but I won't have them for a week. But we're going to put the tail lights, license plate, light, and all that back on, and all the gas tank stuff. So let's get to it. Okay, so there it is. And while it is sunny where I happen to be standing, it doesn't look very good out there. So I think I'm going to call it a day. I have this all back together with the exception of the side marker lenses, which are coming. I have checked all the lights. And you know, when I first did this, I didn't like the black. But now that the tail lights, license plate, and filler neck are all back in, you know what? I think it's going to be okay. I think I actually do kind of like it. I think it looks better than the old aluminum. I'm not too thrilled about that, but you know what? If I had a TIG welder, I could have, well, you know what? I do have a TIG welder, but if I had a gas bottle for the TIG welder, which I'm not going to buy because they're too expensive, I could have patched that up. But, and of course I have shiny rivets on this side, black rivets on that side, but I can fix that. And yeah, I actually kind of like it. So that's all done. One thing I forgot to mention is I made myself a better knob here to hold this down. I got a plastic knob that had a 3/8 stud on it. I got a coupler nut. I drilled it. I tacked a washer on it. So now I can get that on and off much easier. I don't think I'm going to be opening and closing this that often, but the wing nut was kind of a pain in the tush to get your fingers in there to undo and to tighten. This makes it really easy. I've checked all the lights, everything works. So that part of it's done. I'm going to move on to the brakes, get the axle seals out, get the rear diff out, and do the track lock rebuild. And that video might be coming soon. I have nothing scheduled for next week, so it's Sunday today, so I might be back out tomorrow working on that. You never can tell. If I get a lot of customer work, it may not be till next weekend, and you never can tell when that comes flooding in. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for hanging with me while I got this done. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.